It's great to see you all here. I have to say, when we decided to do a Secchia breakfast on AI and we sent it out, within a week we were full. It took, within the first day, we had 90 reservations. So it tells us this might be a good topic to talk about, and hopefully you're all really interested in it. I would like to give a warm welcome to a couple of people who are here. Joan Secchia from the Secchia family is here. And, and we have been doing these Secchia breakfasts for almost 20 years. We started in 2006, and it was a late Peter Secchia's brainchild. He had a lot of them throughout his career. He was one of those people who saw something way down the road and said, we should be doing this now. And that's how we got started. And their support has allowed us to do this every year since then, except for a couple of years during COVID. And we, in 2 years, will celebrate 20 years. So we're really, really excited about that. So thank you, Joan. And I would like to give a warm welcome to my boss, Philly Mantella. And this is the only time I get to see her because she's on the other campus or here or there. So it's really nice to have you here. I am not going to spend a lot of time talking about anything or giving you a long bio of each of the participants, because if you look on your table, you have one of these and they have QR codes on them someplace. Yeah, they do have QR codes so you can read about their bios. But we have a great group of really energetic, innovative, forward-thinking panelists. So I am going to turn this over to Keith Brophy, who is my partner in crime when we teach in the Executive MBA program, and we teach a course on, emerging trends, not on being careful. And he will moderate for the team.
Great. Thank you, Diana. Well, with that introduction, we're going to dive right into the panel. AI is certainly on the minds of so many of us today. You can hear about it in business circles, family gatherings, grocery stores. Recently, I was in a running race and I got passed by a pack of 3 runners in the race, and as they passed me, they were arguing about AI. So it's a topic of the time. I want to start out and ask our panel your read on the pace of transformation. What do you think about AI transformation today? Is it overhyped, underhyped? Anthony, you want to start us out?
Sure. I think it's definitely not overhyped, and it just will getting faster and faster. And so, I think the majority of people don't even realize like AI is in our life already for over a decade. And right now it's just in more and more field, and they can start changing our life in a way we can start to notice. And then so the biggest change is actually start from the ChatGPT, start from a few years ago, and the 2022 ChatGPT is still stupid. 2023 is a little bit smarter, but still not useful. But 2024, when they have the latest generation of model coming out, and all of a sudden totally change the game. And you can really start to see a lot of applications in almost every single field of the applications in business, in operation, and also for a lot of pattern recognition, imaging medicine, et cetera, et cetera. So the speed will just keep facilitating. The speed will become faster and faster. It will get to a level like we are going to have strong concerns, like can we catch it or not? So I think this is it's definitely not overhyped, and we really need to start thinking about how to embrace this kind of impact.
Great, thank you.
I use embrace, not brace. Embrace it is
yes, embrace.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm definitely very excited about AI, obviously, coming from a technology side and from the business side. As you mentioned, AI has been around for a while, and now we all get to have a taste of that. I see a lots of benefits from a business perspective. Of course, we need to be careful. We need to make sure we have our strategy in place in regards to how we're embracing it. I look at AI as another tool, and we're all going to get used to it with time. I don't feel like anybody's behind necessarily, but we all need to understand how AI applies to us personally and as a business, and do it responsibly and ethically.
Hello, everyone. So, like my fellow panelists, I feel that there's a lot of real value with what's going on with AI. But I also think a lot about like the dot-com boom. And I think AI is going to have like a similar maturity curve where it's probably overhyped on the front end and then undervalued on the long end. So if you think about like all the companies that exist today that are like the biggest companies in the world, they're the companies that really won the internet game. And I think the companies of tomorrow are going to be the ones that win the AI game.
Great. Thank you. Well, that question was about the pace of transformation in general. Now I'd like to ask you about the stance of your business in the embracement of AI. Are you working to be early adopters, aggressive adopters, cautious followers? Where does your business stand with AI embracement? Anthony, you want to start us out again?
Sure. Talk about the AI adoption. Banff started from 9 years ago. Banff is actually focused itself on a problem to bring a very advanced technology in medicine to patients and at scale. And that's the problem we're trying to solve. And in order to do these kind of things, we don't have enough facilities, we don't have enough talent, we don't have enough supply chain in order to solve these kind of issues. Therefore, from day one, 9 years ago when we started, we know we need to start to adopt AI and we need to develop AI for this specific field. To us, the vision are from two fields. One is the business operation. How are we going to leverage AI to help us make decisions so we can free a lot of our manpowers to focus on really value-add things only human can do, meaning like a patient care and meaning like a critical decision making instead of just day-to-day operation. So that's the part that we actually trying to develop a lot of help, like a business operational system, integrate AI into it. But the other part is actually for what we're really doing is called precision medicine. Precision medicine, if you think about it, so what we need to do is really collect the right information. And the information doesn't mean intelligence. So we need to turn this information into useful intelligence and use this intelligence to decide how to treat a patient efficiently to offer the best outcome. So there's a lot of information over here, pathology, lab data, genomic, proteomic, different kind of imaging data. There's a lot of information over here. Right now, we rely on well-trained, highly specialized doctors to interpret this kind of information, communicate with each other, and decide how to treat the patients. But when you think about it, we need to deal with 3 million prostate cancer patients, 10 million Alzheimer patients, 30 million cardiac patients, and every single patient right now, they have access to this kind of information from them. We don't have enough people to process this kind of information and turn it into intelligence. We have to rely on AI, and AI can turn that in seconds. So the second part of what we're doing is actually develop this kind of intelligence system to interpret this kind of information and turn it into intelligence to use to treat our patient, offer the best outcome. And so we spend a lot of time to lay the foundation about how we're going to generate these kind of algorithms and how can we use the AI to train AI to actually generate this kind of algorithm for wide variety of disease. And that's what we actually tackle. So at a very high level, Banff is working on two things. One is operational AI to improve efficiency and also on the AI for special applications for our patients. So this is how we apply AI right now.
Great, thank you. So you're hitting a square on, don't you?
Yeah, sure. So ADEC is a product and technology company that has been historically in automotive, and we're diversified in other markets as well. And where our market today is for our customers as well as consumers, it's increasingly big push to ensure we have an added value for our products, as well as time to market. And as you mentioned, there's a lots of things there to enable that to happen. AI is definitely a tool that will help us improve business processes to ensure that we get our products to market faster. But then also within the product, there is a huge aspect how we use the data to provide additional value to our consumers. For example, we you don't want to necessarily have a part breakdown in your car and then after the fact be taking it when it's least convenient for your family. You want to be able to predict that, or we want to be able to alert the user that that's coming, and then when it's convenient, do so. Using AI to be able to facilitate some of those things are necessary to provide additional value. Another one, from an ADEX perspective of where we're going today, I would say we are in a moderate experimental phase. We have early adopters cross-functionally, and we just finished our first experimental project in regards to supply chain optimization, in regards to material management. Every stereotype about AI obstacles we hit along the way. It's no different than any product development that we do or technical development. I applied the same processes, fail fast. So we want short projects. We do small wins that help us educate our people of the value, get everybody on board. So we're doing very, very small intentional projects within the product side as well as our business processes or overall process optimization.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we design and build custom software at Atomic Object, and we've been using AI for our client projects for a long time. But I think the interesting thing to think about when I think about AI adoption in our company, I think more about like, are our teams using the newest tools? And for me, this adoption has seemed slower than I would have thought. I think in reality, it's been fast. But when I think back on it, it took a lot of intentionality to make happen, because it is, to your point, it's a change management challenge. And within our organization, we certainly had like the AI champions, we had the kind of the middle, and then we had the skeptics or the laggards. And my partner Sean and I tried a couple different things, and we had some false starts, getting people to really adopt the tools. And then we did a couple things that I think are pretty important to share. First off, we talked to the organization, and we framed the use of AI tools to the organization not as a differentiator. Like we talked to people about how using these tools is not going to make you any better than anyone else. These tools are readily accessible, they're fairly cheap. Using these tools is about like getting you back to parity where everyone else is. And I think that's a pretty strong statement, because that's the reality of the world we live in. Secondly, we realized that like when we're buying these tools, we really couldn't wrap our arms around an ROI. It wasn't like we were buying like a Microsoft Office for the team or something like that. We knew that this is moving fast, and some of these tools would be garbage and some would be really good. So what we decided to do is we decided to say, like, let's freely start buying these tools and using these tools and deploying these tools, and then in hindsight looking back and figuring out which ones are not good, getting rid of them. And also, we created in our internal chat program, we created an AI channel where the team could talk about AI, like the things they're seeing bad about it, the things they're seeing good about it. And that was really, really powerful as well. And then finally, with our team of champions, we created a small group that could kind of centralize this buying of these tools, because we knew that the experimentation needed to happen fast, and we knew that like every time we were looking into something new, it couldn't pop all the way back up to like a management decision. It had to be more like we need to start adopting and using these tools. And at this point, last I checked, I think 80% of our company is using like generative AI tools at least daily. So I don't know why it's not 100 yet, but we're getting close.
Mike, I'd like to springboard off of that, and a question for all of our panelists, but I'll start with you. There's a lot of talk about which industries face the highest risk of disruption with AI. Those that are sometimes listed at the top of some lists are the legal profession, accounting, and software development. Can you share your thoughts on where you think the biggest opportunities or potential for disruption is?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really, really great question. And certainly software development is towards the top of that list. There's been incredible enhancements in how to generate code. But where my mind is at with this is I feel that in a world where kind of all professional all all professions that have like knowledge workers in them are at risk at some level. I feel like I'd rather double down on the technical people in the long run. And I think that there's opportunity to do things faster, to do things better, where we can really capitalize on things. I also see a lot of really interesting innovations happening. One thing that I'm excited about are agents. If you haven't heard about agents yet, you're probably going to hear a lot about them in the next 6 to 12 months. And those are like really little autonomous workers that can do things for you, that can tap into tools. I'm also excited about where we're going with AI with reasoning, and this kind of idea that, you know, when you talk to a chat GPT right now, it's like a child. It just blurts back the first answer it can think about. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's wrong, and then it doubles down on what's wrong about it. And you know, in a reasoning model, the idea is the large language model could create a plan, and it could explore multiple options before returning you an answer. And the hope here is that you'll get better answers, and the hope also is that you'll get less hallucination.
Great. Downchair?
Same question.
Yes, disruption?
So I would say I wouldn't, within the industry that I'm working, I think the biggest thing is going to be automation within the operations. Really, automation in everything we do from a product development perspective, but then probably the most visual for this morning is, you know, automation within our plants, from quality control, from predictive maintenance within the plants. So all those are areas that we're taking benefit in regards to using AI. Another one that I would say is just what you mentioned about how many and the usage of some of those internal bots in regards to getting information. It's unreal how fast certain things can be done as long as you embrace it. So for anybody here, just play with it, train it the way it becomes almost second you, that starts thinking like you do. And so what I think that's a huge, because it helps you start thinking on the topic. And I don't use ChatGPT as a way to give me the full presentation. What you use is to say, you know, let's get us thinking in the area, and then you customize based on your intellect and based on your experience of where you want to go. So I see that being such a big trend as we all embrace it. It's going to help find many different use cases as it relates to where how that applies to. So I don't personally, I'm not going too far in regards to where the disruption is. I'm living kind of in the moment of, you know, using what we have today, and how do we get, you know, the models that we need to help us within the processes or product development.
Great. Thank you. And Anthony, some people say that healthcare changes slowly. What are your thoughts on disruption in general, including healthcare?
Yeah, healthcare usually changes slowly, but I think for the AI revolution, it's gonna get to a level is become inevitable, and then the AI and the demand will start pushing the change. So, I mean, that's why I say embrace the change is so important to healthcare and to every industry right now, is because, like, no matter you like it or not, some people in your industry will start embrace that, and they are going to be armed with the strong powers. If you don't do it, you're going to get a kick out to the market. And then, so back to your question is about which profession, which kind of a skill set will be like replaced by AI. I think the very simple answer is every like a profession. So it's not which one will be replaced. It's we need to change the mindset. Is how are we going to work with AI to change the way we work in this kind of profession? For example, in medical field, like a doctor's training, if you look at it from every like a disciplines, is I give you the medical knowledge from medical school. I give you the training of experience of different kind of disease, different kind of situation into residency program. So armed with these two things, so when you get to the real world, you can, based on your knowledge and experience, to determine how to treat this patient and make a right diagnosis. That's doctor's training. And there's a limited number of cases you can see when you're in medical school and in 4 year, 3 years, 5 years residency program, right? Take radiology, for example. That's a field I was in. I mean, the whole residency of radiology, radiologist training, you may see 30,000 CTs, MRI, and radiograph, and then you're done. You're a qualified radiologist. AI can review millions of images in a month, and they can identify the patterns human being will never be able to identify. So to the end, it's no doubt human being in this kind of pattern recognition things, including make a diagnosis to every single diseases, we cannot compete with AI. So the doctors, it doesn't mean doctor is going to be eliminated. It means the role of the doctors is going to start to change. We're not going to be that group of people to keep passing the knowledge to the patients and also help patients make the strategic decisions. We're going to become that communication channels between the AI and the patients to communicate this kind of message to the patients and help them to understand what's the situation they are in and if the decision AI is making makes sense or not. So this is just one example in the healthcare field, but in all the other fields, like an accountant in the legal field, the role will change. Profession will not be eliminated, and that's the right way to think about that. And we just can handle more things more efficiently and in a more accurate way.
Thank you. Another question for you, although our other panelists are welcome to dive into it as well, and that's the issue of privacy and ethics and implicit bias in AI. Some say that it's up to humans to make sure that AI is ethical. Others say that AI itself might be able to keep itself ethical and free of bias someday. Where do you stand on the ethics in AI? Starting with you, yeah.
I don't have an answer yet, but I'm very scared about this topic, to be honest. Because, I mean, I think the biggest fears of adopting AI is not about how powerful it could be and how much it can make our lives better. And it's about how are we going to manage that, leverage that in a good way. Because, I mean, why this technology make me nervous, even I'm an early adopter, even I'm working in nuclear field for 20 years, I see this as could be the most disruptive and a powerful tool / weapon to mankind. Because this is not just a technology. Technology, software, fast computing, we still know the logic behind it. This is intelligence. This is a mind. This can start to generate a way of its own thinking faster and above what a human being can do. Imagine as a one person have the knowledge of the whole internet and still also can do the logical thinking, generate different kind of theories, and start to have efficient way to pass around at different kind of channel. And what that world will look like, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm actually feel negative about this technology, but I would just want to make everybody aware this is how powerful this technology could be. And the human being, the society is not run by materials. The human society, if you look at the whole history from the Stone Age, the reason we are successful as a species is because we can process abstractive concept. We can process stories, we can process the mind, we can process the structures, which legal laws, everything run our society is based on an abstractive concept. We can understand that, we live in it, and we make the world works. On the other hand, I mean, is this kind of abstract concept have a great chance disrupt us? So how are we going to put the right guardrail, moving this field in the right pace to make sure we can harvest the most positive part and the power of this new technology to benefit everybody, make the world a better place, but without outpacing us on adopting to create a lot of chaos. I think that's the most important things to think about. Ethical issues is definitely the most important issues. in AI technology, in AI world. Not the computing power, not the energy, not the algorithm. It's the ethical issues, and that's the whole society really need to think about how to regulate that, and how to embrace that.
Okay, thank you. Dansha or Mike, do you have any thoughts on the ethics?
I agree 100%. So one of the things from an organizational perspective, we want to make sure that we have ethical and responsible AI. So that's what is slowing down the pace, honestly, within an organization. We want to make sure that, so there's elements of that that we're looking into. It's really important to have guidelines or the guardrail, as you mentioned earlier, and then to think about the team that is involved from a diversity and being able to think about the fairness of some of the solutions being made. So having the many different, I would say, a team with different, so this AI really puts down, we're talking about in innovation having diverse team. This definitely within ethics is really important. Every person within the team thinks differently of how that product could harm somebody else, but not, the person that is doing the development, it's there to develop. It's not always thinking about how this could negatively. So having different professions, different skill set within the AI development team is critical to address some of those issues. That's just one small component of this. And then we're, this is where collaboration comes in. We all need to work together in regards to, because it is a powerful tool, but we all need to work together of how do we regulate it. So it's on everybody's mind. In fact, I see so many businesses coming up, with, training, other businesses in regards to responsible and ethical AI. But that's just at the beginning stages, just because it's so important. So we're working on ethics policies, but that's not enough. How do we make sure that that's being followed and it's embedded in our product and process development as we're developing AI?
Do you have an AI governance committee that oversees those areas?
Correct. We do. So we have cross-functionally. So I am there from a technology perspective, but then we have our HR team, our president. AI, basically, from an ADEC perspective, we want to make sure that AI is based on our core values. So how do you enable AI as a tool within the organization still following the core values?
Yeah, I love this idea of basing it on core values. When I think about the ethics, back to some of Anthony's points, it's the ethics within companies, within states, within countries. So there's like lots of levels here, and like when I think of regulation on that, like it's a really interesting time that we live in. I think within our companies, going back to our values and really looking to be good on our hiring. Like, are we hiring ethical, good people, good critical thinkers? Because a lot of times this AI is only as good as the data. And unfortunately right now the data is very biased. And hopefully we can continue to improve that. But that's where we're at today.
Thanks, Mike. And a question for you on workforce. What do you think the near-term, medium-term impact is on workforce, not only for your own business, but the industries that you work with? And do you see businesses gearing up rapidly enough to reinvent their workforces for AI?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I think about it internally, the first thing I think about is I'm much more cautious when hiring like SG&A roles. And the reason for that is like as our company grows, I think there's just so much potential for smart automation and doing more with the people we have. We do custom software design and development, so we're still hiring lots of designers and developers. And there's an active debate going on internally over like what characteristics within people do we want to over-index for as we're thinking about like how the world will continue to change. Because I think to one of Anthony's points earlier, like all of our industries are going to change. And I think the thing we really need to do best is are we creating a mindset within our team that change is inevitable, and we have to be open-minded to it, and we have to embrace these tools, and we have to continue to evolve.
Dansha?
Yeah, so from our perspective, we're looking at higher. I want to step back a little bit. From an AI perspective, I'm driving to make sure that we're not looking at AI from a job elimination, but rather what tasks do we have currently that are manual that we could, automate. And then, I want to look at AI as enabling us to do more things that we have been made to do as humans. There is a human element that will never be replaced. We just can do more with the power that has given to us, and don't need to be distracted with manual tasks. So that's one thing. Second thing that I look at candidates that are continuous learners. And I know we have lots of students here. The number one thing on an interview is I want to make sure that they're learning on their own, they're embracing technology. We are going to have to train people on different tasks. I can tell you myself, I am taking AI and doing on my own things to learn and embrace it, because that's the only way I can do, be able to lead a team if I do that on my own. So continue learning and don't be scared to embrace new knowledge. Use ChatGPT if you need to keep to figure out where to go, or talk to us afterwards. But embrace AI, learn, embrace new technology. AI is another new technology. We have gone through so many of them in our past. This is another tool that we're going to learn and get our arms around it. But I'm looking for continuous learners, people that can adapt as our businesses adapt, because from now to 2035 that we're looking, there is other industry trends that we're going to have to adapt knowledge. And somebody in the past, it's like what we're learning at school is just teaching us the basics that we can adapt that and take that knowledge and build off of it and as a springboard. So continuous learners is what I look for.
Great, thank you. Anthony, workforce thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you guys are talking about. And to my mind, I think AI is never just a technology problem. It's just a society community problems. And it will actually trigger a lot of change, trigger the way we live, trigger the way we educate people, trigger the way we think and do things. A lot of people worry about AI going to eliminate a lot of jobs. I totally disagree. The reason is we have a lot of work to do just because the current technology limited our current capacity. AI will help us do more things in the same period of time. Exactly like before computer was invented. It doesn't mean we don't have more calculation computing things to do. It's just because with the manpower and the capability, we can only do that much. Once computer coming in, we can do way more using more power. So it's more people got hired, and we also do more things faster. This time is a little bit different. AI can do things way faster than computing. So imagine you hire a person, generate a document, say for 4 hours. And right now AI do that in 10 seconds. So, okay, one person can do 100 those kind of documents in one day. The problem is not do we have 100 things to do on that day, is can human being handle doing 100 of those kind of like a document a day, even with the help of AI. So what do we need to start thinking about is, number one, how can we start educating and train these kind of people and new workforce, knowing how to handle and working with AI and continue learning working with new technology, still maintain the right, clear mental health and physical health under this kind of high pace, high stress new environment. That's a very, very important thing. And the second thing is economy. We're in the business right now. So when we can do 100 times more of work, can economy catch up? Do we have that much money ready to support, to pay for this kind of job and then start to generate those kind of things? Because we're not seeing those kind of a steady growth with the time. We're going to see an exponential growth right over here. So it's not about eventually can we get there or not. It's during this kind of period of time, how can we control the pace? How can we to prepare the workforce, society, economy to fully embrace and release, leverage the power of AI. That's how I see the workforce problem of the AI field.
Thank you. And one more question before we transition to our audience questions. So this one's kind of a speed round. We talked about how continuous learning is kind of a superpower for students today, looking forward to this future. What if you're hiring a key leader right now and you know they're going to be pivotal in your company's AI initiatives? What is one trait that you would not want? Like, for example, maybe rigidity. And what is one trait that you would want? Maybe curiosity. Dansha, you want to start us out?
Yeah, you just hit on my, I would say open mind and stay curious as one of our values at DATAC, and that's what I would like in every leader. And I just want to say, when a leader for me is in all parts of the organization. Every person in the organization is a leader, and we're talking about AI. Every person needs to be open-minded and embrace and curious and ask questions. I guess one aspect that I wouldn't want is somebody that is not collaborative. Collaboration is key when you're in any organization, AI or not, really. So I would like somebody that is able to enable collaboration across the teams because that's the only way we show success.
Thank you.
You stole my negative. I totally agree. I mean, especially in the world we live in, you really, really need to be collaborative right now. And I think a characteristic I'd focus on is empathy. I think it's going to be a really important skill. The computer has a hard time being empathetic. And this is where humans still can really shine. And I think where we can still really add a lot of value.
Thank you. Anthony?
Yeah, I think I agree, but I think the most important part for me is the integrity. I mean, we put a powerful tool to a person, to a leader, and the integrity is the most important character to determine how we're going to leverage this technology within the organization and also in the community. That's the most important part. Curiosity, all the other great features and characters a leader should have. Of course, we want to have that. But I want to bring out a very interesting point over here. Collaboration is definitely what we want, but in the AI field, it make it look like a contradict with this kind of mindset. The agent concept we're talking about. Right now, everybody will have your own team of secretaries or of assistant in your pocket, right? Is with a lot of tool of AI, is literally allows you don't need to work with anybody. So with this kind of habit being built, mindset being built, environment and the technology available to people, it's gonna be even harder start triggering people to collaborate with other people to get things done. So even we all want to have a collaborative environment, the technology can become a driving force, push this kind of environment to the opposite direction. So that's what we need to start thinking about, how we're going to change these kind of things for the AI era. So that's going back to the more basic things. I think the education become very important. Before the education, especially in engineer field, technology field, we talk about the knowledge and the skill set. Right now, we need in AI era, the education should focus on the base value of a human being. What is the real value of being a human being? What's the value of your meaning of life? Or how are you going to handle the time you're going to have when your majority work you can spend on work before, but right now it's being handled by AI. And what's a real human-to-human interaction means, because based on, I agree, we don't all agree to the end. There's the human interaction part is hard to be replaced by AI. And that's the things we need to start address more and to release more through the educational system for next generation workforce in order to really leverage AI.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate the great responses. And now we will turn to our audience for any questions. I believe we're going to cycle around with a microphone. And one more. And we'll share the microphone up here if I can grab that one. Thank you. just raise your hand up if you have a question, and a microphone will make its way to you.
Michael, question for you. I work at Ottawa Kent Insurance, and we're exploring AI as well. But you had mentioned that you've tried a lot of tools, and I was just seeing if you had any suggestions or specific tools that you might encourage any employer to kind of just try to adapt.
Yeah, one tool on the generative AI side, so generative AI is like Claude, ChatGPT, all those tools. We use a tool called Typing Mind. So Typing Mind aggregates all those tools together. So like behind the scenes, our ops team kind of has keys to all of these different generative AI tools. And we make sure we buy ones that aren't training those large language models on our data. So we're able to kind of sanction that internally. And then we're able to deploy the tool to people so someone can say, hey, I'm going to try this, this prompt and I'm going to give it to Claude. Or I'm going to try and do this prompt and I'm going to give it to ChatGPT, because some of these different large language models are different for solving different problems. So it gives people one tool on their desktop that we can like centrally control, that we can monitor as well. So like, for instance, if, we've learned things like, why is that person using like an abnormal amount of tokens, which are like the go back and forth. Oh, they didn't realize that they could open up another context window every time. So every time they were sending their whole chat history back and forth. So Typing Mind's been a really great tool.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm with Supply Chain Solutions. My name is Michelle Zimmerman. And I have two questions. One is, how are you managing, because we're an early adopter. We have AI. We're weaving it into our network infrastructure and systems. And my question is, how are you managing data integrity and ensuring you have, like your AI is providing you good information and not bad information, and then security. That's the part that really concerns me, because I don't know what I don't know. And of course we have security, we have a good security posture, but just trying to manage that weaving through Microsoft Teams, Office, your whole network and system ecosystem.
Great question. It's on all of our minds. I would say from our perspective, the key is figuring out which model you're going to use, and then ask lots of questions in regards to how is that model being trained? Where is that data coming from training? How is that data protected? So at this point, from our organization, we're trying to obviously embrace it and move faster. We have worked with a couple different providers. I mean, some of the big one for us has been Microsoft Azure that we have used, but there's others as well. And so we are working directly to ensure that our data is protected. So we're leaning on the provider in regards to the data. As it relates to the day-to-day, we have a chat bot that the team uses, like Copilot, that is protected from our data perspective. But really, everything it's really just understanding the model and the source for the data that the model was trained, and then how that data is being protected. So be curious and ask lots of questions. That's really the key, is making sure you understand, because there's a lot of, I would say, hustle that we all have to say we are doing AI. It needs to be safe. So do a lots of homework, understanding what the model is and where it's coming and how the data is protected before you dive in. So that's part of building that framework organizationally, making sure that you understand what you're working with.
Yeah, one thing that comes to mind for me is, from the security standpoint, I think the best thing you can do is get ahead of your team on it. Because like if you're slow providing a solution, people are going to find their own solution, and maybe it's a free version of ChatGPT where all of a sudden it's using your data to train their algorithm, right? So like getting your own kind of sanctioned tool set up and getting that deployed to people, I think that's the first best step for security. All the items you spoke on, Asha.
Given the calm and rational nature of American politics, do you see a potential future where an AI model that's trained in economics and policy and philosophy might replace certain leaders? And if so, what are some potential benefits and risks of that?
Now I have the mic. It's like a setup. No, I think that's a great question. I think that's two levels of things we need to answer. The one is again, AI is never a technology problem, right? So it's the community, society, mindset, place with the technology. So there's a two level. It's a quality AI setup, policy AI setup is gonna be better than human being can do? Definitely. But like what a society real need is the top flawless perfect policy, or is actually with the leader over there make a leader people can trust come out with a policy over there. That's actually the things we need to think about. So I don't think it's going to be replaced, but again, it's the way we work is going to change. And the AI era, the essence is never about technology. The AI era is always about how human right now, from now on, can work with AI. How are we going to work with each other? That's the essence of the AI era.
Yeah. I don't have anything additional to add to that. I mean, it's, I still don't believe that, I mean, that's why we have rules and regulations, right? Today, that's why we have police. That's why. So it's going to take, things to protect, and make sure that we're not misusing the tool.
And definitely on top of that, AI can offer, if we use it in the right way, can offer way more comprehensive data, way more comprehensive intelligence to assist the policymakers and the politicians to make a better and closer to the need policies. And I think that's an extremely positive thing if we leverage it in the right way.
That's one area that I don't think we touched. From an advice perspective, data that you're using organizationally, making sure you're using good data or making sure your data cross-organizationally is it's aligned. It's really critical because the data is what makes this tool provide you the intelligence. So that's one of the things we haven't talked about, that data integrity, data sources within the organization. So make sure your data aligns before you embrace or you understand the data that you're using to solve some of these problems.
Yeah, on the politics side, it's really interesting. What are politicians like? They like power, they like control. They make the laws. So I kind of feel like if I'm just thinking this through, is AI going to solve all of our real problems? Is it going to solve healthcare? Is it going to solve homelessness? Is it going to solve poverty and all these different things? And then are you going to have a leader that's able to kind of take credit for that? So I don't know. I'm not so. I feel like they might be the last ones to kind of be disrupted.
Thanks. And we have time for one more question, then we'll do our concluding statements and wrap. So one more question.
Mike Kramer, I'm a health informaticist. Public service announcement. I found a website yesterday called aifire.co, and it lists all the large language models and all the varying, preferences, biases, whatever. It's very useful. Question for you. In healthcare, we're seeing the emergence of the role Chief Data and AI Officer. And I don't know if that's, a person, a full-time person, a function of a person, or just a fad. And I'd be curious what your opinion is on that. And then if you have any tips and tricks to develop oneself in that direction as an AI leader within an organization, would be great.
I have to say there's a lots of materials on the web in regards to training. So at this point, what I would do is in fact, I will send some data in regards to useful. There's a number of sites where you can personally get yourself trained. some tools that are available. I received recently from national AI speaker kind of AI guide for leaders. So there's few things there that can help with data management, so I'll send some of those useful links to you guys.
Yeah, I think AI, I don't think people need, it's a very, can you hear me? Yep. AI is a very cutting edge technology, but it is a technology. It's no different from the software we're using right now. They're just using different ways to conduct specific functions. It's more complicated, taking more computing power, taking more energy, and they're using different kind of models to achieve the task. So before we teach computer what to do, line by line, we write code and they conduct that functions. AI, we create a model, train them, ask them to learn by themselves to do those kind of jobs. And until to the level we agree you can do a good job, accessible job, then you're ready to start serve. So that's it's just the way we do things is different, but the concept is still the same. So going back to that, to the end, this is going to be just another app, and everybody can have it on their phone. So there's nothing fancy over there. We're just in the early phase for that. But to the second part of the healthcare for the chief AI officer, chief adoption officer, I think that's a very, very critical job. And because this is also answer the questions we just have over here. How are we going to adopt AI in the organization? How to play it safe? There's no answer right now. And what we need to admit is now we're in a trailblazing phase. This is the phase we need to all work together to figure out. Therefore, at this phase, we need to admit something, and every company, every organization have to set a tone, set the right expectation for your organization to determine how much risk you're willing to take in order to adopt AI. The answer is very, very simple. If you don't adopt AI, you're going to die. You're going to be kicked out of the field, no doubt. So you have to move on. But how much risk you're willing to take, that's determine the phase of your company, scale of your company, vision of your company, and the industry you're in of your company. And back to the question, healthcare. Healthcare is one of the most regulated industry. So it takes a lot of the more care and in order to really adopt AI. But on the other hand, when we really adopt AI, and while we really need AI to process so many information, this will really, really offer a true precision medicine to the patients. So we do need a person, and as a position, with the vision, with the right mindset, with the right integrity, and in order to set up those kind of guardrail to pace the whole organization, working with the whole leadership and the team members to pace the organization get into the AI era. There's no doubt we're going to go there. Just the question is how many years we're willing to spend to get there. And in healthcare, I keep mentioning to my team is how many years we're willing to spend to get to there is equal to how many lives we're willing to lose before we get there. And this is a very serious and critical issues. So we cannot move in too fast to risk a lot of things, the leakage, security, privacy, or something, but we cannot move too slow because every single moment we lose, we actually lost lives. So that's the tricky part, and we do need a person, in my opinion, we do need a person in every healthcare organization, and this person need to have a vision and have a risk-taking mindset and willing to work with each other, and also be able to have a great communication skills to bring the whole organization moving forward.
You were talking about AI or data, is that correct? Like the combination of the two?
Chief AI, I think data leads to good AI, so they may be combined roles.
Yeah. I think they could even be two separate roles. And I think the data side of it is going to be the side that's more strategic in the long run, because that's going to be the person that really understands what that organization has to offer. And I think the AI side, I think it's probably a different person or a different team because they're going to be deploying the tools onto the data. that you have available. So I think the real innovation is going to come from like what data do you have, more so than like I guess like how it gets processed through the AI, because that's going to be more of the commodity, I think, in the long run.
Great. Thank you, panel and audience. I'd like to pass through our panel one more time to get your final words of encouragement or inspiration as we all face this bold AI future. Any thoughts to leave the audience with? Mike, do you want to go first?
Embrace it. AI is fun. There's lots of cool things you can learn. I think like right now, AI is still in its infancy. Our joke internally is it stands for an intern, AI, and that's going to continue to get better. But I think it's a good framing to have, because an intern can do some really awesome work sometimes, and then they can do some things that aren't so good, right? And you probably wouldn't put your intern in front of your top customer right now. So I think like proceed cautiously, but like it's really great to have like a whole army of interns behind you getting stuff done. So embrace it, have fun with it. I think you'll find you're able to get a lot more done.
I don't have anything else to add. AI is here to stay. Learn as much about it. Help your organization to make sure it has the right policies, and advocate, and have fun with it. I mean, it's incredible the power it has. So let's all of us be responsible with it, but also don't be afraid to use it, and just grow with it.
Same here. I think AI is extremely exciting. It's totally going to change us, the way we live, the way we work, and really bring like a human being to the 22nd centuries. But the way we need to really think about it as a community, this is not just tech field problem. It's actually the whole community problem, including education, economy, and also integrity and the value of a human being will become more and more important in AI field. So I think especially we're in university, I really cannot address a philosophical physiology, like education will become more and more important in our educational system, because we really need to think about what's the real meaning of existence and the real meaning of as a human being. So that's my conclusion. But the future is embrace how to work with AI, and I think it's very, very bright.
Great. Thank you. Well, thank you, panel. And now we'll wrap it. Just go boldly. The change is coming fast.
Help me thank our panel. We have a small token of appreciation for the panel, but before I do that, I'd like the students that are here to stand up. So if any of you are looking for new talent and employees, they're here. Come and talk to them. Thank you. You can sit. So in the spirit of societal impact, advancing societal impact and sustainability, instead of giving you a mug or anything like that, we have, and I'm going to read this. I'll read one of them, then I'll pass them out. A gift in your name has been given to 33 buckets towards their 2024 Clean Water Initiative in the Cusco region of Peru. This donation will provide an immediate solution and the development of a plan to ensure access to clean water for the long term. Education will be emphasized through the water manager training and youth-focused water sanitation and hygiene workshops. So on behalf of Seidman and Grand Valley, thank you so much for spending your time with us and talking about this topic we're going to talk about for at least the next year or two or 10 on AI. So thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you probably in February for the next one.